Well, this snuck up on me again. I often forget that it is Memorial Day when I'm overseas, and it isn't until somebody posts something or sends me an email that I am reminded. And Memorial Day is often a difficult day for me because, aside from the day itself, when we remember those who died in service to our country, it is also the anniversary of the day when I lost two friends and colleagues of mine, Paul Douglas and James Brolin, who worked for CBS with me in Baghdad. And they were out this day 16 years ago today, filming a report about how the troops were observing Memorial Day, and both were killed in a roadside bomb in Baghdad. And I've written down some notes here because I wanted to make sure that I say what it is I intended to say. Both Paul and James were a friend of mine, but Paul especially I'd worked with a lot, and he was a great guy, and I liked him very much as a friend and as a colleague, and as somebody to have in a war zone under those intense, difficult circumstances. And he would always, we had this little shtick that he would do. He'd bounce into the room and surprise me and go, "You ready?" Basically implying, "You ready for anything?" And I'd have to go, "Damn right." He was a funny guy. He was a big guy, but a gentle giant. I know that's trite. I know that phrase is used too often, but he really was. He had a big smile, and he could defuse any tension in any situation. And I was the one who had to pack up all of his personal remains and send them back to his family. That was not easy. And I think about his family a lot, and I think about his friends and family and the people he left behind. Yes, some will say this is performative. I put this up. I'm filming this. I'm trying to put into words some things that just go beyond words. The dead don't feel the sadness. They don't feel the loss. They're beyond that. It's those of us who are left behind who mourn. And in this year, I have another friend to mourn. And I will remember him as well every day on Memorial Day as well, Pierre. Pierre was killed here in Ukraine just recently. And I haven't processed it yet. And I don't think I'll be able to until I leave here. He was also a good friend of mine. I will miss Pierre an awful lot. We remember this day, Memorial Day, we remember those who died in war, giving service to the nation. And generally, of course, first and foremost, we remember those in uniform. But I'll always remember Paul and James because it's the anniversary, and I'll always remember Pierre because now they died doing something as well, coming to a war zone and trying to provide a service. And you can say what you want about journalists and journalism, but they believed in what they were doing just as I believed in what I was doing and believe in what people do when they come to war zones. It's important. And to give that sacrifice is no small thing. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is my last war. I'm done. I've had it. I've seen enough. I think this started actually during COVID, when we were all in lockdown, so many of us were kind of reassessed what we were doing with our lives, and I did too. And I decided then that I wasn't going to do this anymore. I don't want to spend the rest of my life surrounded by suffering and ugliness and pain. You know, when you're a young man, there's a sense of adventure to it. Sure, there's there's the adrenaline rush of being in conflict in an actual combat environment. But there's also the kind of, this is what we're supposed to do. There is purpose to this, and that's exciting too. But I'm done with that. It's over. I don't get that anymore. I derive no satisfaction from being surrounded by, even if it is historical and important, the suffering of my fellow man. I don't want to be around it anymore. War sucks. It's awful. There is nothing good about it. There is no romanticism to it. This war in particular, because I love this place so much. So, when I was a younger man, there was something to it, but no, not anymore. Anyway, this is my last Memorial Day in a war zone, just as I've had my last birthday in a war zone. This is the last time I will mark the death of Paul and James. The 16th time, 16 years ago today. But this is it. This is the last time I'll mark that death, that anniversary, that awful anniversary, while I'm actually in a war zone. So, I will pour one out, as is the custom, to all of those who die in war, in service of one way or another. Many of you may have loved ones that are gone. And I mark this day for them as well. But for me, this will always also be a day when I remember Paul and James, and now Pierre. Fuck war.